So, so if it is okay with you, you probably know a little bit of background. So Christine is going through a executive coaching program,
Mm-hmm. What?
Executive coaching program. So,
oh, I see. Okay.
So I am her coach, and as part of the process, I want to get some interview people and see how about her leadership style and form, and to see what can she do in order to add more impact to the organization and grow professionally, and also help you achieve your goals. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if it is okay with you, will you? The first question that I have is, will you describe, what's his professional relationship with Christine? And how long have you known her, and what capacity? Let's put it that way.
So Kristin is actually like 2 management levels above me, so she's my boss's boss. So I've been working here about like 8 months, and I don't know if you know that much about the background of the company, but it's a very quickly growing startup company.
Yep.
So at first I didn't really have that much interaction with her because it's like 2 management levels above me, but I think as like things have shifted, we kind of work more closely now with her being the lead of one of the projects that I'm working on right now.
Yeah. Who do you report to?
Who do I report to?
Yeah.
I report to John. I don't know if you know John Latham.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk to him as well. So when you think of Christine, based on the interactions that you had with her, what is the first thing that comes to your mind about her?
I think she's very energetic. She has like, she just has a lot of enthusiasm. I think she's generally, not always, but I think she's generally a very positive person. And I think she's just a very like positive person to be around generally.
Okay. Is that the feeling that you believe that is shared by most people, or just by a couple, or by a few?
So I think I think there are different viewpoints on that. I think as far as her management style goes, that's very much the first thing you notice. I know that within the group, not just like myself, but other people have not necessarily been on board with decisions that she's made, and or felt like they weren't included as part of the decision making.
Yep.
So like that's kind of been an issue with her, where people have felt like either she didn't share information or made decisions without getting their input on it.
Getting input in that, and people are surprised about that, annoyed, or what's the feeling that you see more about when that happens?
I think people are I think it ends up being like a bad situation where people feel like what they do doesn't matter, or their opinions aren't necessarily being respected in regard to whatever their expertise is, because everybody wants to feel like if you're designated as a technical lead for something, that whoever is in charge of the project is respecting your opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think that kind of becomes like an issue. And I know also people have felt like their work isn't being recognized. And that may have nothing to do with Kristin, actually. That may just be like a upper management situation.
Yeah.
So so that is a completely different issue, probably.
Got it. What are Kristine's key strengths, do you think? What are the 3 things that she's the strongest at and brings to the table?
I think she's very good at I guess like the social aspect of it, where she can interact with many different groups, many different people, and have like a very like kind of high level understanding of it. I think she's good at bringing people together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think she's very like charismatic in her way. Yeah.
Okay. That's one. Is there any other strengths that come to your mind?
I think she has a very good grasp of the technical aspects of a lot of the projects.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, especially considering like I think she has a lot on her plate in terms of what what she's been assigned to do. So
Yeah.
she's very good with that too. Mm-hmm.
She's getting good at multitasking or completing all the things, or when you say when she's very good at that, what does that mean to you?
So it means like I think she, I mean, granted, like I think she's actually spread too thin.
Okay.
So there are some things that she doesn't know or doesn't exactly she doesn't understand it necessarily, but she's very open to like if I explain something, then she's like, oh, okay, I get it. Like in that sense where she'll like she might not necessarily know every single detail, but if I explain it, then she'll understand what I'm talking about.
Got it. And when you say it, she's spread too thin, is that
Mm-hmm.
an organizational problem, or you think that she just wants to be involved with everything and try to control everything, or what's your sense on that?
So I think that it is a little bit hard for me to parse that because on one level I do think with the sometimes with the withholding of information that she sometimes seems like she wants to control a lot of things.
Okay.
Um, so like for example, she really does. There was one occasion where she didn't want me to talk to QA about an opinion I had that was different from hers because she wanted to be able to kind of get QA to agree with her, and I didn't agree with that. So in my mind, that's like if you have disagreement, you should resolve it and not like try to hide the disagreement from other groups.
Yeah.
Um, eh, yeah, so in that mind, that's like a little bit of a control issue, and I don't know.
Almost
She's taken on
almost
a lot.
manipulation, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that I'm not on board with. Like that kind of manipulation. I don't. That sort of thing doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. Like one, we're startups, so everything is crazy all the time, and there are a lot of tasks that need to be done. So I'm not sure if the demands are being placed on her or if she's taking on a lot of these demands.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to say.
Got it. Got it. So if you think about, from your group and from even from your direct manager points of view, what is the
Hmm.
what is the one thing that Christine could do in order to have more impact, positive impact in your in the organization?
Oh, I think one thing that she could do, which I'm not sure is something that is on her mind or how feasible it is, but I think she needs to delegate better. To because I feel like part of the problem is she has so many different responsibilities, and her like kind of either controlling it or not willing to let go kind of leads to a bad situation. So like if she can find people that she thinks are capable of handling some of the other tasks and then like trusting them with those tasks, I think would make the whole management system a little bit better.
Yep. 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 So we talk about, that she's a little. I'm inferring that she's somewhat a little bit controlling. And do you think that that is what is getting in the way of not delegating, or?
Yeah, I mean, and to some extent, I totally understand the desire to control things. So I don't know why she hasn't delegated necessarily, or yeah, I think there are people who she's like trusted in the past to deliver on certain items and they didn't. So maybe that's why there's a hesitation to delegate tasks to people. yeah, it's kind of it's a hard thing.
Yeah, no, totally, totally. I mean, delegating is
Yeah.
it's so simple, but it requires, you know, uh, there is a fear sometimes, you know, fear of losing control, fear of being irrelevant. There are
Yeah.
so many things that are behind that. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
when it comes to your goals, you personally, what is there something that she could do in order to help you achieve your goals?
Um, I mean,
Professional,
like I
organizational, you know, whatever goals you feel. Is there something that she could actually do to help you uh, grow?
so you know, this is something that's very odd in the group, and something that's like recently come to my attention, which may not have anything to do with Kristen, but at the same time, like, you know, this is like, you know, asking about me. There's this feeling in the group that no matter how hard you work, no one's going to recognize or promote you for it.
Hmm.
And you know, as an employee, hearing it from multiple sources now, I'm like, why is one, is this true, right? And two, is this something that we're working on? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no,
it,
yeah,
is there a plan for me other than I work really hard but don't get recognized or promoted for it, right? Like,
yeah,
what is my future here, right? What is my career trajectory, so to speak? You know, like, that's something that's very, and because, you know, maybe because we're a new company, they've never had to define this for their employees. But
correct.
like long term, if I were to see a future here, what does that look like, right? Like, are you investing in me as an employee? Do you have an interest in, like, where I grow or what position I'm in, like, a year from now or something like that? Like,
Got it, got it, got it. So you
just,
would like to see
yeah,
more like a professional growth path uh, in the organization now.
or that, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, or that one exists at all.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
because I think the worst feeling is to feel like, you know, you're working really hard, but it will, like, in the end, net you zero results.
yeah, yeah. Uh, has anybody in the company, whether it's Christine or your direct manager, talked to you about professional growth, or, you know, that particular conversation at one point or another?
Yeah, actually, Kristen has. Um, and, you know, maybe this is me being very indirect about it and not, like, saying, like, I want a promotion, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
But she has. But it's just, it's been a little bit unclear exactly what that looks like. So I think just having something more defined, um, you know, in terms of, like, growth paths, like, you know, something like a little bit more concrete to be like, oh, you know, promotions usually happen a year from, like, when you start, or like whatever time frame, or like we expect certain, you know, performance metrics or whatever that means for the next level.
got it, got it. Uh, uh, have you seen her uh, uh, when things are not going her way? You know, like, have you seen her like frustrated, upset, or stuff like that? Is there any behavior that comes to your mind on how she reacts when things are not going her way?
I have seen her upset or frustrated. I've never, like, directly seen what has happened or to cause that, because I don't think I'm involved in the meetings that or whatever decisions are being made to create that situation. She There have been a couple of times when she's just kind of left, and I think it was because she was upset about something that happened. Or there have been a couple of times where she just kind of didn't show up to certain meetings or something like that, just a little randomly. So I assumed it was because she was frustrated with something and just didn't
Got
want
it.
to deal with it or something. Yeah.
So here is a couple of things that I had picked up from other people I interviewed, and I don't know if this is how you have experienced her,
Hmm.
or if you heard other people experiencing her, is that she tends to be somewhat pessimistic. That is one,
um.
and
Okay.
yeah, go ahead, go ahead. You were saying.
Oh, that's funny. That's like not my experience of her, but that's
Okay.
interesting.
And the other one is that she tends to be, when she's frustrated, she tends to, what is the word that I'm become too, not able to control her body language and emotions. Uh, is that
Yeah.
something that you have experienced or you've seen or you heard?
No, I have seen it. I don't think I've been like more directly exposed to like that part of it, but yeah, I could definitely see that
Got it. Got it.
for someone who maybe has more direct interaction with her, like on that level.
Yeah. In the organization, like all the people, the interactions that she has with other ones, could you identify or have you heard of one specific relationship that is kind of like friction going on that
Yeah,
might be affecting the way she works or the work that you guys are doing for her?
that is what it's expecting. Sorry.
Yeah, it's it's like a relationship that she has with a coworker or somebody in the organization that is a source of friction and frustration for her more than any other.
Like I don't know any of specific relationships. I do know there is friction. I think with, there have been, so it's kind of led to some weird dynamic within our group because I think her tendency is to not want to share certain things with the larger core team. And the core team sort of gets like frustrated that she doesn't share this information with them. Like it's more than one functional group. It's like project management has complained to me, and then QA has also said, like, because I sporadically get invited to these meetings because I have information about studies,
Yeah,
and QA has said to me that it's much better when I attend the meetings because otherwise they don't get any information about what tech dev is doing.
got it.
So it's become a little bit odd because now, because she's the technical lead, sometimes project management will ask me questions instead of her because I think, they're probably getting more information out of me than her sometimes.
Yeah,
And that puts me in kind of an odd position where I'm like, I mean, my personal philosophy is we should share everything with core team because this is how decisions are made. But then if Kristin has a different idea of what we should be sharing, then it just kind of leads to a weird situation.
yeah, yeah. So when I know that we're like a couple of minutes left. I want to follow up in that interaction or in that dynamic. So when she doesn't share that information, that puts you at in comfortable situations because now you have to respond to those requests, right? Do you think that she does it because she wants to hoard information, or she honestly didn't think that it was important to share it?
I'm not sure because she's never said anything to me regarding that. She's never expressed her frustration to me about like me saying certain things to other groups.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where that unwillingness to share information is coming from.
Got it.
Yeah, but I've had multiple people like from other functional groups complain to me about that specifically.
Got it. So picture, like 6 months from now or 4 months from now, what will you be looking forward from her to determine that she's actually making progress on her leadership style and her leadership effectiveness? Is there a specific marker that I would say, if she does that, then I know that she's actually working on something?
It's a little hard to say. No, that's I'm not really sure. I think it would be nice to see that I don't know. I guess I would just like to see a little bit more openness
Okay.
from her.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of like sharing information or communicating things, and it's it's just like a one-way sort of situation where it's like she will communicate things to me, but like she might not communicate to other groups as much. And I think that's kind of where there's a lot of friction, where things are happening, but they're not actually being communicated to other groups. And then sometimes things are not being accurately communicated to other groups. So that sets up expectations for our group that are not true.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So that's pretty much all I got. I was wondering if you have any other comments or a question that I didn't ask or something else that you would like to share with me.
No, I think it's I think her position is a tough position. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I don't want to come off as being like really hard on her or something like that. But it is a very tough position. There's a lot of stress, and like, this environment certainly is not conducive, to being like the best manager you can be. So I think, we have to keep that all in context, and
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lou. I really, really appreciate it, and I hope that that your commute this afternoon is not as bad.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.